So I'm hoping you can hear me over the noise of the traffic, but it's a beautiful spring day in my city. I've got flowers budding all over the town. Every tree in town has all these little buds on it. Springtime is definitely in full swing. All the sweeter because I know it's only temporary, just like autumn. So, what are we going to talk about today? I'm talking about how to be more awesome. Okay, here's the thing. Philosophies. I want to talk about philosophies in general, just the concept of having a personal philosophy. There's a big trend. Okay, I can't even call it a trend because it's pretty much always been this way. There's a tendency in human nature to always go for off-the-rack philosophies, and it's something that I'm very much opposed to. An off-the-rack philosophy is a set of beliefs that go together for no really particular reason. I'm not bundling religions into this because religions usually have some sort of cohesive idea behind them, or at least the idea that they are a revealed truth, which is all a package deal from some higher intelligence. So I'm not including those. That's another ball of wax. We can talk about the concept of religion in general if anyone wants to do that. But right now I'm talking about the concept of having a philosophy, like a political philosophy or a social philosophy or a personal philosophy, and the importance of not getting one off the rack. You need a tailor-made philosophy. This is something that's going to be very important to you, and you need to get one that fits you properly. Now, my favorite whipping boy for the off-the-rack philosophy is the political party philosophy. Now, this is nothing new. I am kind of irked at the two-party system we have in the United States. George Washington spoke extensively against it, and in my opinion, he turned out to be right. They're all just as stupid as Washington said they were going to be, and in my opinion, the two-party system is the biggest impediment to getting anything actually done in the United States. Unfortunately, it is so ingrained that it is the only way that we actually do get things done is by going through the two-party system. You have to be either a Democrat or a Republican, which is shorthand generally for saying that you have to be a liberal or a conservative. All very weird terms, and muddled even further by the fact that I've heard people self-term themselves as liberal Republicans or conservative Democrats. And I'm not sure if that means just somewhere closer to the middle of the scale, or if Democrat and Republican are supposed to mean something else in their minds. At any rate, all of these words are very, very muddled. First of all, just speaking in terms of everyday language, conservative and liberal are not opposites, like at all. Conservative, the opposite of conservatism would be progressivism, which liberals tend to be for, but liberalism and progressivism are not the same thing. Progressivism means wanting change in general. Liberalism is supposed to mean like generosity, being liberal, giving to people and sharing bounty. It's very tied up, I don't think just lately, but intrinsically, with the idea of socialism, that social justice is something that is better served the less people are able to hoard and personally have things, and as such it stands opposed, I think, to capitalism. But the problem that I have is that liberalism and conservatism in its modern context in the United States has very little to do with actually being liberal or being conservative. Being a, let's coin a new term here. Being a liberalist, because I don't want to just call you a liberal. If I call you liberal, that means you're just generous. That's what the word means. If you're liberal, you're generous. If you're a liberalist, if you subscribe to the political formula of liberalism, you are expected to believe in a whole slew of things. The environment is important, and being able to abort fetuses is an intrinsic right, and everybody deserves health care, but they do not deserve the right to bear arms because that's dangerous. Everybody does deserve the right to food and wealth and such, but nobody deserves the right to hoard up a large amount of wealth or food or such. Now, if you're a conservative, you believe a whole bunch of different things, which liberals by definition must be opposed to because liberals are not conservatives. You have to believe in small government and a well-armed populace and traditional religious values and capitalism and rugged individualism. And anything the one can't believe, the other one by definition cannot, because these two are trying very hard to be opposed to one another. And this concept of trying to oppose one another has led to a bunch of weird things, such as I kind of hinted at the idea that liberalism involves generosity and the welfare of the common man, but it is opposed to the idea of certain individual liberties, the right to bear arms or to smoke or such like. And then conservatives are a very strange thing. It seems, as near as I can tell, to stand for small government, prudent, laissez-faire fiscal policy, and bigotry. Those seem to be the founding points of conservatism these days. I am neither liberal nor conservative. I would have to write down a whole list and put tally marks all over the place to even see which side of the fence I come closer to. Because I stand for the rights of the individual, and I stand for taking care of your fellow man, and as such I am a liberal. I stand for radical technological development and rapid technological implementation, especially as it pertains to renewable energy and improved infrastructure and less waste. These are all very liberalist ideas. I believe in also in a laissez-faire economy. I believe in the government getting out of the way of business and letting it run to its fullest potential whenever possible, with, of course, laws and rules to make sure that workers aren't exploited and whatnot. All the things that the labor unions succeeded in securing for the American populace, thereby making themselves obsolete. I believe in traditional conservative Christian values. I am Catholic, as you've probably noticed if you've been listening to any of this series. And as such, I am a conservative. But just because I'm Catholic doesn't mean I think we should close the borders to all those terrible aliens who are taking our jobs. I'm of European descent, okay? I'm Spanish and German and a few other things. All of those are non-American. They came from somewhere else. They were foreigners. And just about everybody in the United States, unless you are entirely Native American, which is almost never found anymore, you came to some degree from foreigners. And I like foreign ideas and foreign interchange, and I like foreign commerce, and I like the idea that we are part of a larger world. All of these being very opposed to traditional conservative values today. So my point is, if I see an issue, I don't concern myself with whether this issue is conservative or whether this issue is liberal. I concern myself with what is the correct side of this dialogue to be on. And even less do I care what political party started something. If it's because liberals have come up with good and bad ideas, and Republicans have come up with good and bad ideas, and it is not the party that they came from that makes them good or bad. It is their inherent merit. So I would encourage you not to adopt an off-the-rack philosophy, because somewhere in there, there's going to be a bad idea, I guarantee you. If it's mass-produced, there's bound to be some shoddy work in there somewhere.